The sun was setting as Adam reached the town. Yet, every door was sealed tight, and the streets barren. He shifted uneasily. It wasn't that late. People should still be around, on their way home, or off to a pub. Somewhere, but no one was seen or heard. A shadow moved from an alleyway. The adventurer stepped back, at the sight of the creature. A rancid smell assaulted his nose as it moved towards him. It moved quickly, with bloodlust in his eyes. Welcome to Mythical Phylogeny Adventures. I'm your guide, Jason. Today, we seek out a rather bizarre take on the vampire, the Vrykolakas. Usually, when we look at Greek mythology, we are back in the Hellenistic age or so. But today, we are moving to a more modern era. The first recordings of the Vrykolakas date back to the 17th century, though the word actually originated from Bulgaria. In the Slavic languages, Vrykolakas means werewolf, though there are regional variations. Vrykolakas are malicious undead. There are several ways a person may become one. The seventh consecutive child of a single gender may be destined to become one. But more commonly, there are other factors. Being excommunicated from the church, committing horrendous crimes, buried outside of the cemetery, in non-consecrated ground. Now, they won't rise right away. They must wait 7 days after being buried before they can rise up. One odd way that they can arise comes from eating sheep which have been injured by werewolves or regular wolves, though it can spread through being bitten. Oh, but the craziest does speak of it coming from a slain werewolf. So, a few different accounts on their origins. Now, they don't drink blood like most vampires, but do eat your intestines, and particularly your liver. This is much more nutritious and sustainable than blood. They will wander through town, knocking on doors. It will even try and mimic a person's voice. If no one comes on the first knock, then it leaves. But if someone opens it, they will die shortly and rise as another Vrykolakas. One method that they will use will be to sit on the victim's chest. Often they will go around creating issues like moving objects, knocking them over, and creating mischief. But that is only the start. Their power grows the longer that they are alive. Eventually, they can bring plagues and sickness through the village. They have the power of shapeshifting, limited weather control, leading to natural disasters. Take note, they are not affected by sunlight. Their bodies are a little different. They can look bloated, with a reddish hue to their skin. Some speak of excessive hair and fangs, but they can be stopped. Oddly enough, holy magic, religious symbols, and prayers aren't consistent on its usefulness. No, but they can be slain like other vampires. Decapitation, a wooden stake in the heart, cremation. Some say that they must return to their graves to rest on Saturday night. That is the day to strike them down. But better to stop it before it arises. These are called apotropaics. Commonly, they were buried with stakes through their hearts, hands, and legs. Fragments of heavy jars have been found atop the remains of suspected Vrykolakas. Often, these pieces of pottery were given religious texts on them. Placing sand or millet seeds on and around the coffin was to force the vampire to count every grain. You could also bury them face down and sever the tendons in the arms and legs. Exorcisms are mentioned involving boiling oil and vinegar being poured over the body. But the oldest method was the obolus. This one goes all the way back to ancient Greece. If a person wished to cross the river Styx on Charon's boat, he usually needed to pay. The amount varies with the tales, but usually 2 coins. Often they were placed in the mouth of the dead. In time, this became a way to ward off evil spirits from entering the body. This would expand to crosses placed in the mouth, or physical objects placed beside the body, ones that had meaning to the person, like tools of their trade, their farming scythe, or a blacksmith's hammer. But those who couldn't pay the price had to wait, remain stuck on the shore. A few among them would return to the mortal realm, trapped between life and death. This version of the undead dates back to 4000 BC. They are also susceptible to garlic and silver. Again, holy emblems are debated. Most do agree that they work. A few disagree though. That is a lot to begin with. So, how do we get a vampire and werewolf crossed? If the werewolf is a magical plague that spreads through bites, did it evolve from a vampire's bite? That doesn't fit completely, unfortunately, but is a good starting point. Now, why would there be disagreement on whether holy relics influence it? Well, remember, it grows with time. Potentially, it will eventually reach a point of resisting it. This may take time, and it could also be influenced by the strength of the person using the relic. So, how do we defeat the Vrykolakas? Be prepared for them. We know some of the people who are candidates to become one. Prepare the appropriate measures. Be sure to perform the proper rites for the dead. Place them in consecrated ground. And place an obolus in their mouth. Sever the tendons. Or go so far as to dismember the body, or even cremate it. Do this with the remains of anyone with the most sacrilegious crimes. But it fails, and then what? Best to end this quickly. Get your tail in gear. It will be weakest on Saturday nights, when it must return to its grave. At all other times, it will be out and about. How to find it? Well, it can shapeshift into animals. It is always malicious and cruel. So, look for an animal that is doing so. At night, it might go about knocking on doors. So, if your door is knocked on, wait for the second knocking before you go and open it. Yes, you may hear someone's voice, but it will be a trick. Even if it sounds like an emergency, be patient and careful. Now, they have shown a wide range of powers, from creating fogs and rain, to larger disasters and plagues. You will need to handle each accordingly. You'll need your counter magic ready to stop it. So, if you meet it in battle, what do? It is physically very strong and dangerous. Close quarter combat is going to be risky. So bring the best armor that you can come up with. Plate will offer the best protection against its physical strength. But it would be wise to engrave your armor with holy symbols. Yes, they may resist it, but most will be weak to them. And extra protection is invaluable. There are several ways to end it. First up, decapitation. Bring a sword and aim for the neck. Take it off, and your foe will fall. Yeah, that is true for 99% of mythical creatures. But key here, dismemberment will make the fight easier in the long run, if you can remove its limbs. But that will be more difficult. But you can just cremate it. Bring the heat. Turn it to ash. The more power, the better here. call upon your mages. But there is another option, holy magic. Get your clerics and paladins ready for a fight. Prepare barrels of holy water and use wind and water magic to create a powerful attack. And that is one way to expose it while hiding. A mist of holy water should reveal it. Now, you will need to be careful if it hurts you. There is a chance that you will soon become one as well. If that happens, arrange your own funeral so that you never rise against your allies. This won't be an easy battle, and you will need to put in the work to finish it off. Prepare ahead. Try to catch this foe before it can arise. You have 7 days from death before awakening. Get to work. The longer you take, the harder it will be, and why I'm giving the Vrykolakas a 6 of 10 for difficulty. This is a vampire with some of the powers of a werewolf mixed in. There is little to gain in rewards from slaying this vampire. You will want to be sure that it is dead. That means destroying the remains. Turn it to ash after the fight. That will be the safest option, and the only one. You don't want round 2. If you overkill it, you won't have to do it a second time. Now, vampire ashes are said to be used in potions with various results. Not many other benefits, unless you are open to grave robbing. Your best reward will likely come from a bounty, maybe coins to fill your pockets, but more likely, thankful villagers who may pay you back in their own means. If it is your own village, that should be enough. But there is a rather cruel option. Could you bury a criminal just outside of town, hidden away where no one knows, to unleash the Vrykolakas upon the village? Wicked magical warfare, to be sure. A fantasy world would need its own Geneva Conventions, to be sure. The Vrykolakas rushed towards Adam. He barely sidestepped its fangs. Flames burst from his hand and struck the monster in the face. It didn't care as it swiped at him once more. He took the blow on the chest and was sent flying. Judging by the pain, he had broken a few ribs. His foe glared at him. A brilliant light sprang forth, blinding man and monster alike. While stunned, someone began to chant, and with it the vampire let out a shriek of pain. Its flesh burned beneath the holy rites, until it was no more. Adam looked on as a figure approached him, one shrouded in light. The Vrykolakas is dangerous like any vampire, but it does have its own take on it. You will need to handle it with care and cunning, to be sure. Thank you for watching, adventurers. Please come back next time for a class evaluation of the cleric. Until then, I'll see you on the roads.